secured bail, he has now received a setback from the High Court. Staying the Delhi Chief Minister's bail, the court said the trial court's order reflects perversity. A vacation bench of Justice Sudhir Kumar Jain overturned the Rouse Avenue Court's order that had come down heavily on the Enforcement Directorate. So for now, Arvind Kejriwal will stay in Tihar jail. As he dictated the order, Justice Jain said that every court is under an obligation to give sufficient opportunity to all parties involved to present their respective case. And in this particular instance, the Enforcement Directorate had contended that they were not given enough time to oppose Arvind Kejriwal's bail. Today, the court dictated its 34-page order, and these are some of the highlights of that particular order. The trial court observation that mentioned how they could not go through voluminous material that could not be considered, that is totally unjustified, said the Delhi High Court today. The Delhi High Court also said that the order of the trial court shows that it has not applied its mind to the material. It speaks specifically of Section 45 of the Money Laundering Act of the PMLA. It has not been properly discussed during this hearing by the trial courts at the High Court today. The trial court also did not deal with the argument of vicarious liability of Section 70 of the PMLA is what today the Justice of the High Court observed. Trial court shouldn't have given its finding opposite to that of the High Court is also what they said. Once the plea challenging arrest of Arvind Kejriwal was dismissed, his team cannot say that his personal liberty was curtailed. That was an argument that Abhishek Manu Singhvi on behalf of Arvind Kejriwal made in court. That is something that does not have any legal standing is what the court went on to say. But all's not over for Team Kejriwal. The Supreme Court is going to be hearing the matter tomorrow. The Chief Minister does have legal recourse. But in the court of public opinion and in this narrative war, has the Aam Aadmi Party lost? That's the question we ask.
ये पूरा का पूरा तथाकथित शराब घोटाला फर्जी है। भाजपा के दफ्तर में लिखा गया है। हम आज के फैसले से असहमत हैं।
Bail once granted cannot be cancelled in a routine manner.
अरविंद केजरीवाल जी के खिलाफ शराब घोटाले के पुख्ता सबूत हैं, पैसे के लेन देन के सबूत हैं, किस तरह से उन्होंने पैसा अपने निजी लिए इस्तेमाल किया इसके भी सबूत हैं।
Joining me on this broadcast, National Spokesperson of the BJP, RP Singh, Ashwini Dubey, Advocate of the Supreme Court, Sanjeev Srivastava, Senior Journalist, will join us shortly. Spokesperson of the Aam Aadmi Party, Anmol Panwar, will also join us shortly. But before we get into the politics, let me get the Advocate on record here. What do you make of the High Court order today? It's one order that came a few days ago, about 5 days ago, that was extremely critical of the Enforcement Directorate. Contrary to that, today's order is extremely critical of that particular order.
Of course, the superior order will prevail. The criminal jurisprudence says that the order passed by the appellate court shall prevail and will hold, filled. So here, the findings of learned trial court, where learned trial court has ruled by quoting the Benjamin Franklin, saying that it is better that 100 guilty persons should escape, that one person should suffer. And also the beautiful phrase of Lord Chief Justice Havard, that is, justice should not only be done but seen to be done. That has no relevance in the cases of PMLA. Here is it not the case where the ordinarily criminal jurisprudence of criminal matters under the Indian Penal Code are decided. Here, it's a special statute, and special statutes have certain conditions for bail, and the Section 45 makes it mandatory to hear the public prosecutor in all bail application, and when the prosecutor opposes the bail, the court is required to apply a twin test. And what is that? Twin test we have discussed, but the burden of proof is entirely on the jailed accused. And also, who would be often weak to fight the might of the state. But the twin conditions make it almost impossible for an accused to get bail under PMLA. Now, the other thing which has been argued is the vicarious liability. It is not necessarily to be seen that the money has been recovered. Even otherwise, if vicarious liability is there, and if ED is alleging that 45 crores have been used, that has some substance. Now, third thing is, what learned trial court has said, that it is difficult to go through the thousands of pages. So that also shows that the order of learned trial court, I'm very sorry to say, it is not to criticize Honorable Judge, but it shows that the order was passed without considering the documents available on record. Now, other thing, you remember when Mr. Kejriwal, Honorable Chief Minister, had challenged his remand and illegal arrest, alleged illegal arrest, there were two issues were framed. One, whether the arrest of Mr. Kejriwal is illegal and arbitrary, and whether the arrest by order date on 21st March 2024 and consequent remand, it contrary to Supreme Court judgment, that matter is pending in the Supreme Court. And the second issue was whether he is entitled to be released from custody in view of his arrest and remand order being illegal. That order is also pending. So here, if we see the criminal procedure code, if we see the other provisions of the code and the hierarchy of the courts, the superior order will prevail. Honorable High Court has passed that order, overturning the trial court's judgment. Let's see what will happen tomorrow in Supreme Court. That would prevail. If Supreme Court grants him bail, then today's order will be overlooked, overturned. Yes, over to you.
Right. Anmol Panwar, why does the Aam Aadmi Party today think that this order is biased? You welcome the order that came from the Rouse Avenue Court a few days ago. Why do you think this one is biased?
Mr. Dubey spoke a lot about the established procedures of law. Mr. Dubey might be aware of the fact that Article 21 of the Indian Constitution guarantees the right to life and personal liberty, and no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty except according to the procedure established by law. Mr. Dubey, please inform the viewers whether it has happened even once in the history that even before issuance of a formal order by a sessions court, the High Court grants an interim stay. I don't think so, and this marks as an unprecedented departure from the established judicial process. I mean, we have never heard of such thing in the past. I am also a practicing advocate since last 10 years, but even before the sessions court passed an order, the High Court granted an interim stay. And the observations made by the Honorable Supreme Court day before yesterday was that it is an unusual practice that an order has been reserved on a stay application for 2 days. I would like you to enlighten the viewers on this.
But you speak of personal liberty. That's something that today the court had also spoken of. They also went on to say today that because his plea challenging his arrest was dismissed and his arrest was deemed legal, there is no question of personal liberty being curtailed.
No, not at all. His arrest has not been deemed legal. The matter is sub judice before the Honorable Supreme Court. The arrest of Mr. Kejriwal is illegal and unconstitutional. It is a fabricated case in an attempt to crush the Aam Aadmi Party. Very serious observations were made by the trial court going through all the records. Ample opportunities and time were given to the
They didn't go
advocate
through
of
all the
Enforcement
records.
Directorate.
That's what the order went on to
let me-
say, that we did not
let
have
me-
time to go through all of the
No,
documents that were
not
put on
at all.
record, which is
let
something
me
that was
read-
taken objection to by the High Court today.
Let me read para 16. It says that although various bulky documents and citations have been filed by both the parties, most of which were not even relevant in the aspect of the present case, it has very specifically been mentioned in the order. And the Honorable Sessions Court said that ED is acting with bias. There's no trace of proceeds of money. Since last 2 years, not a single penny has been recovered by the Enforcement
Sure, but you were
Directorate.
quoting from the
And
Rouse
this
Avenue.
investigation.
Sure, Mr.
and this
Panwar, you were quoting from the Rouse Avenue Court order. So let me quote from there. It says that it's not possible to go through these thousands of pages of documents at this juncture, but this is the duty of the court to work upon the matter which comes for consideration as per the law. Sometimes courts refrain from passing such orders on account of various reasons which may have long-lasting effects. The fact that that judge said that there wasn't enough time to go through all of this material was something that the High Court today spoke of, that is completely unjustified. Then you shouldn't have passed an order if you didn't have time to go through all of those records, is what the High Court said today. It's not me who's saying it.
What is completely unjustified is that the High Court, even without looking at the order passed by the trial court, the appeal was filed without that order, which has been challenged before the High Court. And then an interim stay has been granted. The ED approached the High Court at 10:15. Order was passed at 11 a.m. and the interim stay was granted at 10:30 a.m. On which order have they granted interim stay? I mean, if Mr. Ashwani Dubey can enlighten the viewers as to which rule or which procedure says that an interim order can be stayed without even a concrete order
Sure.
in place without
Sure. So
formal
this question
issuance
is
of that order.
this question is specifically
And
to
the
Ashwini
CD
Dubey, so I'll give him 30 seconds to respond before I get in the other two gentlemen as well. Ashwini Dubey, what was the haste for the High Court to even stay it before the trial court's complete order was out? That's a question the Aam Aadmi Party has been asking since that day.
It's
That
not
is
the Aam
very
Aadmi
well-
Party. Everyone in the country is asking this question.
Sure. And the Aam Aadmi Party, let's say, is speaking on behalf of the rest of the country. So here I would like to say the Aam Aadmi Party is saying it. But sure, Ashwini Dubey, go ahead.
High Court is the constitutional court. This is within the wisdom, this is within the discretion, and looking into the various aspects. Also, the questions which have been decided by Honorable Justice Swarnakanta Mehra while rejecting the remand challenge.
Sir,
which is
please
under
tell the rule or
Now
procedure,
to-
sir.
You've asked the
Now-
question, sir. Let him answer, please. Give him 30 seconds at least to respond.
Now, tomorrow, the Honorable Supreme Court, if enlightened that Honorable High Court was wrong, then Honorable Supreme Court would overturn it. But the question here is not this. This is, I again say, the High Court is a constitutional court. You remember the Tista Seetal Ward's case, there was no even paper filed before the Honorable Supreme Court, but bail was granted. You remember the recently the 3 judges bench set. So it is within the domain. It is within the discretion. It is within the wisdom. Certainly, if it would have been a case where learned trial court would have exercised jurisdiction, that does not cease to exist with the learned trial court. But so far it comes to the High Court and the Supreme Court. They are the court of constitution. They are the constitutional court, number one. Number two, if it is a case that there was no order, the Honorable Supreme Court will hear it tomorrow. Supreme Court will certainly pass any precedent or judgment which will be followed in future. But here it is between the order is between two courts. We are nowhere to say कि कौन सी court का कौन सा jurisdiction, but it is very well within the jurisdiction of the Honorable High Court. That is why yesterday Honorable Supreme Court did not intervene. ये court order है. So let us see.
I need 10 seconds to respond. I need 10 seconds.
Yes, Mr. Panwar, go ahead. 10
Mr.
seconds.
Dubey, the courts operate under a strict set of procedures which are designed to ensure transparency, fairness, and the rule of law. They are not akin to khap panchayats which may function without rigid adherence to legal standards. You must admit that. And secondly, the Honorable Supreme Court even said that we will not commit the same mistake which the High Court has committed. These were the observations by the Honorable Supreme Court. Even they admitted that without issuance of order, an interim stay cannot be granted.
Sure. So RP Singh, there is some sort of haste that was shown to stay this order by this particular court. The High Court is biased, says the Aam Aadmi Party. There is absolutely no proof as far as any links of this excise policy alleged scandal to Kejriwal is concerned. This is what the Rouse Avenue Court had said last week. That is something that the Aam Aadmi Party reiterates today and says this is us being vindicated, despite whatever the order from the High Court today is.
Well, as per Aam Aadmi Party, Poonam, the High Court is a khap panchayat. He just now said that it's like a khap panchayat.
We have not
You
said
can't
that.
run
I
like a
have
court
not.
like a
Please
khap
do
panchayat.
not.
No, he
misquote.
did, sir.
Please do not
RP Singh, he
misquote.
said it's
I
not.
didn't
That
say
there
that.
are said laws and procedures that it is governed by, and it's not a khap panchayat, which is why certain rules need to be adhered to, is the point that he was trying to make. But anyway, go ahead.
So as per him, High Court is not adhering to rules and regulations. They are
So
working like a khap
please,
panchayat. Okay,
you
I restate
enlighten the viewers as to under which rule has that order been stayed. आप बता
Anmol
दीजिए
Panwar,
ना।
it's been
Confident
Anmol
है।
Panwar,
running
he's
the debate?
just
You are
started
Mr.
speaking.
Anmol. I mean-
Anmol Panwar, he's just started speaking. Give him some time to make his point. I will come back to you. I'll give you enough time to rebut. But let's not speak over each other. Let's try to keep this civil. RP Singh, go ahead.
I'll appreciate you'll ask Mr. Pawar to behave like a good lawyer, not like a Aam Aadmi Party spokesperson who are generally anarchists and who heckle other people who come on debate. I mean,
So you
I
don't
never
have
heckled, I never
anything to
spoke
say.
a word when
You
he was
don't have
saying whatever he
anything
had
to
to
say.
say.
That's why rather than speaking
Okay,
on the
let's not
merits
get
of the case,
let's not get
you
personal,
just-
gentlemen. Let's just stick to the point, please. RP Singh, I request you to stick to the point as well. I understand it's been 12 minutes into this debate. We've just gone to the other gentlemen. Sanjeev Srivastava is patiently waiting as well. So Anmol Panwar, I would really request you to not try and heckle any of them, to not speak over them. I will give you your time enough to rebut each and every one of them. But RP Singh, yes, go ahead.
Well, one thing which happened in the lower court was that lower court didn't appreciate it that this is a PMLA case. This is not a routine matter, and there are certain different laws and bylaws for PMLA case, and it has to be dealt differently. Here, the onus of honesty or honest of not being guilty is on the person who is answerable for it. And also, what did the High Court said today? The High Court Justice Sudhir Jain said malified intention on the part of ED was incorrect. He has overturned the order of the lower court where he has said that malified intention on the part of ED was incorrect. Secondly, he also said that vacation judge has not provided the Enforcement Directorate sufficient opportunity to present their case. The primary petition allegations required meticulous consideration by court. This is not me, this is the Honorable Justice of the High Court is saying. He further, let me take it further. The court noted the trial court order had inadequately discussed the mandatory condition, had inadequately discussed the mandatory condition under the PMLA. That's what I was saying. Mr. Pawar is trying to make it a common case. कोई सड़क छाप, कोई गुंडा, कोई चोरी चकारी करता पकड़ा का, गाड़ी चोरी करता पकड़ा का. This is a case of a money laundering. This is a case of swindling money in a blue collar system.
इस तरह का केस है आपका. Even a pickpocket cannot be arrested with the kind of charges you have leveled.
Why you get hecklers on debate, ma'am? Poonam, why you get hecklers on debate?
So
did I heckle him? I mean, if I start heckling him, he won't be able to utter a word.
Panwar, I asked you to keep this. I asked you to keep this civil. I will give you your time. Let him finish his point. He's just about spoken now. Let him finish his point. I'll come to you. RP Singh, 30 seconds.
Well, I have nothing else to say. You allow the heckler to say what he has to say because they can't, I mean, they are anarchists. They have never learned the law of land. That's what they did. They came to power. They started looting Delhi. They started using the power of Delhi, Delhiite gave them to do scams and then use that money for the election. I'll give you one example out of this context. The gentleman named Rajinder Singh Solanki, who was caught red-handed with 20 lakh rupees in Gujarat, in Bardoloi. There was a driver with him. He said, "Ki mera paisa nahi hai. This is not my money." This is a driver who is a conduit, who's a conduit between the center party and the state party, and he does it every now and then. He uses my car. He is being put on my car, and there's a case going on, registered case going on. Please Google and search. There's a case going on. This case. It's the same thing. Only thing is, it's matter of time that ED has already produced details in the court. When the trials start happening, ED will give all details. How did the money transferred? Who are the people involved? There are records on. Give me a second. I have to name the people who have given statement under Section 164, saying that yes, they were the one who transferred money, which was given by the people who are related to Aam Aadmi Party. And give the name of the people: Ashok Patel, Kiran Bhai Patel, Jagdish Sharma, Ashok Chandu Bhai, Mr. Kirat Ambalal. And they have given all evidence on under Section 164. They put this on record under Section 164, where they can't, it's not in the police station, it's in the front of the court. Now, all such people have put it on record that it's almost into 45 crore rupees which was transferred, and ED has all the records, and ED has produced a record in front of the High Court. Now they are moving to the Supreme Court. Let's see what the Supreme Court will say on that. But we have to accept that High Court has turned down whatever was being said or whatever was being transpired in the Rouse Avenue Court by a vacation judge, who was not a regular judge, and then he heard the petition as a regular case, not as a PMLA case.
It shouldn't have contradicted the High Court's earlier order as well as what the High Court observed today. But Sanjeev Srivastava, is this a selective way of looking at how the judiciary functions? If an order is in someone's favor, then let's all claim vindication and let's all say, oh my God, what a great order. But if it's not, then aspersions are cast on the judge on whether it was biased and not biased, why there was haste, and all of these questions are asked.
See, Poonam, unfortunately our politics has come to such a pass that the trial court judgment was being commented upon by just about everybody who is against our party or Arvind Kejriwal. And similarly now the High Court judgment is being commented upon and is being seen in different kind of ways by people who are sympathetic to Kejriwal. I think this matter is very simple. A trial court took a stand, gave out a judgment, granted bail, and that was stayed, and the decision has been overturned by High Court. Now there is an established hierarchy, there is established practice, and now the AAP party is free to go to the Supreme Court, argue their case, and I think the matter will rest there. So this is, after a point, it's a political debate really. It's not a it's not a legal issue. On the issue of legality, while I am not a lawyer, at the same time I also understand the points which the lawyer, Mr. Anmol is his name?
Yes.
Who is representing our party or is sympathetic to their case. I also appreciate and understand the point which RP Singh is making, and also the other lawyer, because both, that's the beauty of law. You can argue both sides, take different points of view, but ultimately the judge's decision is supreme. You can only argue against it or challenge it in a higher court, and that's what our party is going to do. And finally the Supreme Court will come out with a decision. Whether they will grant bail, not grant bail, uphold the High Court's order is anybody's guess. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, who is appearing on behalf of Arvind Kejriwal and Aam Aadmi Party, is one of the best lawyers in the country. I am sure he is going to put a great case forward, and so will the government side. I really have no clue what the Supreme Court will decide. But this is just the way our politics has become. Everything is challenged, criticized, because politics has become so personal. And the only one thing which I'll say, I don't know the merits of this case, which side is right or wrong, but the last few years politics has moved in a certain direction which does smack of vindictiveness, because while RP Singh is absolutely right that this is a PMLA case and certain different sets of laws apply and the onus of proof is on the accused, and bail is not a natural right of the accused, which otherwise is. What really begs the question is, why was such a law made in the first place? Because this law is also recent, amendment is also recent, but that's neither here or there. The final thing is, the trial court said something that has been overturned by High Court. Let's wait for the final judgment by the Supreme Court or decision by them.
RP Singh, this is what many within the opposition have said time and again. The kind of action or the alacrity that is being shown by the Enforcement Directorate or by other investigating agencies is only in case where they are probing leaders of the opposition. That same sort of alacrity is not shown when leaders of the BJP or the BJP allies are being investigated. That's where the whole vindictiveness allegation comes from.
Poonam, I'll answer that, but I have to make a small point for on what Sanjeev said. Sanjeev said that the law was brought by the ruling party. No, sir, law was brought by the UPA and then further strengthened by BJP, NDA and Parliament, sorry. And then later on, all political parties went to the court and they were their ground was turned on. Now it is under review. The review petition is filed. Let's see what the court has to say under the review petition. But initially, court has turned it down, saying that no, law is good, and then we don't want to turn the law. But coming to the coming to your point that the opposition is being targeted or no one is being spared. The cases are generally PMLA cases are blue collar cases where blue collar crime happens. People who are smart enough to use tricks of the law or loopholes of the law to their advantage and circulate money in such a fashion to their advantage, and then rotate money in fashion which comes to their advantage. So it takes time. Every case takes time. There is a case which was filed against Mr. Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi in 2012, which is still on. That case is still on, and then probably it will take some more few years because the judicial process is such that it takes time. Even in Mr. Kejriwal's case, he didn't turn up for the hearing. He didn't turn up to the ED on the almost 9 or 10 times when the notice was sent to him. So he took his own time because as per law he took advantage. It took almost a year or 8 months to appear in front of the ED, or sorry, ED then probably came and picked him up. But that's how the complete legal procedure is. It takes time, and it's nothing. And again, I reiterate, no one will be spared. If you feel that anyone is being spared, Mr. Anmol Pawar is a good lawyer, and then they have already hired one of the best lawyers in the country on the expense of Delhiites, not on the expense of the Aam Aadmi Party, and they can use his services to pursue the cases.
Mr. Anmol Panwar, several questions are being raised as far as the Aam Aadmi Party's conduct is concerned, but as far as this particular case goes, like Sanjeev Srivastava was saying, it is as much about the legality, but it's also about the politics. It's also about the optics and the narrative war really that seems to be going on. Where do you think then the Aam Aadmi Party, or what do you think the Aam Aadmi Party is left with as far as that aspect is concerned? Because many would say that you've lost as far as the court of public opinion is concerned. And that goes on to show in the recently concluded Lok Sabha elections. The kind of sympathy or support that you expected from the voter, you didn't get.
Puramji, what do you expect from a party whose leader was put behind bars just days after the model code of conduct stepped in? He was put behind bars on 21st of March. And the reason why he was illegally and unconstitutionally put behind bars was because Bharatiya Janata Party was afraid of him. They did not want him to campaign in the elections. But the people of Delhi are intelligent enough. They very well know
he campaigned.
That, sir, please do not interrupt.
Sure, he may not have campaigned as much as the Aam Aadmi Party would have liked, but sure, he did get some time towards the fag end of the campaign to campaign. But
Poonamji,
yes,
the observations made by the court demolished the case of Enforcement Directorate. They tore apart the arguments made by ED's advocate that no money trail has been found.
Which court?
Not a single penny has been recovered even
Which
after
court?
2 years
this was the
of
Rouse Avenue
investigation.
court, sir.
Which court?
This was the Rouse Avenue court which gave its order last week. Yes, Mr. Panwar, go ahead. RP Singh, I'll come back to you.
Yeah, not a single penny has been recovered. No money trail has been found. They have failed to trace the proceeds of money to Mr. Kejriwal. And the fact is that ED is acting with bias. This is what the court said. And he's not even named in the ECIR of the Enforcement Directorate or the FIR of the CBI, even after 2 years. This speaks volume about the baseless allegations made by the Enforcement Directorate. They have failed to prove it. And very important point, what the advocate of Enforcement Directorate said in the court. It is mentioned in para 28. He said that because they don't have any evidence, that's why approval came into scene. He said that investigation is an art and sometimes one accused is given a lollipop of bail and pardon and induced with some assurance to make them tell the story behind the offense. The 4 approvers on the basis of which their entire case is relied upon. One of the approvers is P. Sharad Reddy, who gave 60 crore bribe to Bharatiya Janata Party, and then the Enforcement Directorate did not.
That's the allegation that was a bribe. There is no proof of that either. If we're talking about
the
innocent until proven guilty, then that yardstick should be applied on both sides, isn't it?
The turn of events very clearly indicate that he gave the bribe on 10th of February. And thereafter, the Enforcement Directorate did not oppose his bail application. The other was their alliance partner, Maguntha Reddy, who contested from PDP, and Mr. Modi campaigned for him.
Sure, and whether any of these approvers and their testimonies have any legal standing is something that now the Supreme Court will also look into. All of this will be looked into when the merits of the case are looked into, and tomorrow the Supreme Court will look at that. But while you quote the Rouse Avenue Court's order, why not also quote today's order is what I have been asking you since the start of this show. When you speak of how the Rouse Avenue Court said that the Enforcement Directorate's intent was malified and that they were biased, today the High Court has gone on to say exactly opposite of that. They said there is absolutely no evidence that there was any malified intent from the ED side.
See, I've stated it initially as well that this order was passed even without the formal issuance of the order by the Sessions Court. So that itself indicates.
Not at all.
Sir.
Not at all.
Please do not mislead, sir. Do not mislead.
No, not at all. You are spreading lies. I mean, you're telling
the whole country knows. We are not.
No. You are. No. Your word is not the gospel truth.
Your
word is not the gospel truth.
Sir.
अरे चोरों की बारात हो तुम लोग तुम्हारा नेता से लेकर तुम्हारे सब बाकी सब लोग सबके सब चोर हैं समझे नहीं तुम चोरों की बारात हो
We're talking about the merits of this case and what happened as far as the Rouse Avenue court.
अरे चुप चोरों की बारात का हिस्सेदार
RP Singh and Anmol Panwar, I request you all to please keep this civil. Let's not get into name calling. which court order is looked at, that may be selective. To each its own. Everyone has the right to do so.
Now you are giving lectures on morality and corruption.
Mr. Panwar, the same argument may be made against you as well. The action that you claim is vindictiveness is the same accusation you've been accused of doing in Punjab. So let's not get into that. That's another debate altogether. But I want to give in the last word to Ashwini Dubey and Sanjeev Srivastava on this as well. Ashwini Dubey, as far as legality is concerned, we're talking about how selectively one may see certain judgments. And fair enough, it's their right to do so. They have legal recourse. The Aam Aadmi Party has gone to the higher court, and if the Supreme Court decides to overturn what the High Court did, then that would supersede what the High Court says. But this is a serious allegation, a serious case that we're talking about. Why make it political? Why cast aspersions on political affiliations of the judge or the haste or the lack of wisdom of any judge?
This judgment should be criticized, or legally it should be challenged instead of criticizing the judges. One judge, one court. It has become a fashion now to selectively target the judges. It has become a fashion now to selectively target the judgments which are in favor. All right, justice has prevailed. And if that judgment is passed on the basis of considering there are material evidence against the accused, nahi, sir. Bilkul. This is a very bad precedent which has started. See, what I have read as a student of law, that the Superior Court's order prevails. Superior Court's order would hold the field. And since the High Court has today have already ruled that entire voluminous record which was not perused by the learned trial court is totally unwarranted, and showed that the trial court has not applied its mind to the material. Honorable High Court has also accepted that there was no proper opportunity. Why we can't discuss it? One. Number two, I would also like to read certain paragraphs, or I would like to just remind my brother Anmol, he's taking very personal, I understand. But I'm just, what a student of law I should say, I will say, Honorable Justice Swarnakanta Mehra in the previous round of litigation have categorically said that the political party, being the head of the political party, he is answerable. Also, 9 times summons were issued. He did not appear.
Right.
Issues were framed. So we should also discuss that. If tomorrow Supreme Court...
Sure, and tomorrow when Supreme Court comes out with its order, all of that will be discussed again, and we'll definitely have another version of this debate when the Supreme Court order does come out tomorrow, irrespective of which way it goes. Unfortunately, I'm completely out of time. I have to thank you, gentlemen, for joining us here on this broadcast, because there's some piece of breaking news that's now coming in. This is to do with what's transpiring in Parliament. Remember, it was day 2 today of the 18th Lok Sabha. Rahul Gandhi is going to now be the leader of opposition. That decision has been finalized. Remember, chorus was growing within Congress ranks for Rahul Gandhi to listen to this appeal that was coming to the fore from several members of Parliament from the Congress party. Pallavi joining us. Pallavi, looks like Rahul bit that bullet.
Yes, and after much flop and after very voty, and this is because the CWC meeting also had passed a resolution. After this brief meeting which took place of the India bloc, 2 things were being sorted out. One, of course, is the Speaker's strategy tomorrow. But more importantly, the India bloc leaders were conveyed this message that Rahul Gandhi has decided to take the plunge. He's going to be the leader of the party, or the leader of the opposition rather. For the first time in 10 years, Poonam, the Congress has got a chance to become an LOP, because in the last 2 terms, it just didn't have the numbers. But armed with 100 seats, clearly, Rahul Gandhi is going to be projected as the main opponent of the Prime Minister. So now what it means as an LOP is that in every business which is being taken up, discussed, legislations, and the streamlining of the working of the party and of the India bloc inside the Lok Sabha will now become the responsibility of Rahul Gandhi.
Now, this is a confirmation that has come to the fore from K.C. Venugopal, the General Secretary of the Congress Party, that Rahul Gandhi has been appointed as the leader of opposition in Lok Sabha. RP Singh continues to be with us on this broadcast. Pallavi, do stay on with us. Let's listen into that confirmation that came to the fore from K.C. Venugopal.
Informing the decision of appointment of Rahul Gandhi as the leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha. Other office bearers.
RP Singh, your first response. Rahul Gandhi is now the leader of opposition. It is something that many within the Congress have wanted for ever since the elections were concluded on the 4th of June, ever since the results came out on the 4th of June. Finally, that decision is final. A lot of it had to do because Rahul Gandhi wasn't sure is what we were learning, but now he's decided that he's going to take up this position.
Well, this was very obvious. I mean, there's nothing surprising in this because in a dynastic system, it's the dynast who will always be given a first chance. But issue is, issue is, all party on board or not? I mean, as per their choice of leader of, choice for Speaker of the House, Mamata Banerjee and Sharad Pawar has withdrawn their and said that they were not consulted, and they are on record saying that they were not consulted. I'm hopeful that they would have consulted the other India Alliance partners also before declaring him as a leader of the opposition, because when he says the leader of the opposition, it will include India Alliance put together, not only Congress party. But if they think it's just India Alliance is just Congress, then God bless them. All the best to Rahul Gandhi and all the best to India Alliance.
Pallavi continues to be with us. Pallavi, this is something that the BJP is also asking. The Congress may have wanted this, but are all other alliance partners on board as well? Is this something, or is this just another unilateral decision like that was of K. Suresh's nomination?
No, Poonam, what we are being told by our top India bloc leaders, of course, and this is a confirmation coming in from the Congress party, the main reason why the India bloc meeting was called, and in fact the Speaker's election was just an excuse, but the main reason why it was called is that because the party wanted to convey to the India bloc leaders that he is going to be the LOP. But left to himself, Rahul Gandhi did show a little bit of reluctance in the beginning. He also understood that he was the main face of the Congress party in the Lok Sabha elections, and he's ready to take on the Prime Minister. He wants to take on the Prime Minister. So now you're going to see a straight one-on-one confrontation taking place in Lok Sabha. The pattern is very simple. Whenever the PM gets up to speak, the first right to speak will also be given to the LOP. In this case, of course, it's going to be Rahul Gandhi. So there's not going to be any dodging that. Both the sides will have to interact and communicate more and more with each other. Every bill, every legislation, every short and long duration discussion which also comes up, Poonam, will also be initiated by the LOP. In that sense, Rahul Gandhi will have to be 24/7 around whenever the parliament is in session. He'll have to micromanage. The flow management is also going to be his responsibility, not just of the Congress party, but for the entire India bloc. He'll also have to take on the responsibility to ensure that he takes the other India bloc leaders with him and with the Congress party. The unilateral decision, for example, you're correctly pointing out, Poonam, which was taken regarding fielding K. Suresh, is something which he cannot afford to do anymore, because, you know, if you are the LOP, your job also is to ensure that at the end of the day, that your opposition needs to look united. You have to reach out even to like-minded parties. You know, for example, the YSRCP and the BJD, of course, doesn't have any MPs over there. So these are the main factors and the responsibility which he will have to ensure. So it's clearly now officially going to be, at least inside the Lok Sabha, the PM versus Rahul Gandhi factor.
PM versus Rahul Gandhi, that's what it's going to be like, RP Singh?
Well, we will appreciate a constructive opposition and leader of opposition also playing a role of a constructive leader who comes for debate, who discuss issues and subjects, not do threat tricks. I mean, for first day, the second day, it was more of a threat trick than the serious, the way that seriously the leader of opposition should behave, or for that regard, the MP should behave, member parliament should behave. In the last few sessions which happened in the last parliament was that they brought jantar mantar to the parliament, where ruckus was created, where bills were thrown on the chair, and then where people were dancing on the tables. We have seen that. We are hopeful that all that will not happen. And also, all this threatening of carrying a book of constitution doesn't work. You have to abide by constitution than merely showing the book of constitution.
So you were also speaking of dynasty politics, something that the Congress stands for, but there is a leader of opposition from the Gandhi family after 2 decades almost. So there have been opportunities that were given to other leaders as far as the Congress is concerned. Why shouldn't Rahul Gandhi, to whom this credit of the kind of numbers that they have gotten this time around is being given, why should he not take that mantle then?
Well, it's their choice, as I said. I mean, but has dynasty extended to India Alliance also? I mean, as I initially said, that either have they taken all other members of the India Alliance on board? Have they taken TMC, Left, Aam Aadmi Party, other parties also on board, Sharad Pawar ji, other people on board or not?
From what we're learning from our sources within those parties is that they are on board, sir.
Good, then good. Congratulations to them, and congratulations to Mr. Rahul Gandhi that he'll represent the complete opposition. But as for their speaker's choice, it didn't happen that way. In speaker's choice, Mr. Sharad Pawar and Mamata Banerjee both are on record saying that they were not consulted. Hopefully that this process will stay on, where he takes everyone on board and then consult all his other colleagues, other alliance partner colleagues, and whatever he does in the parliament reflects the Indian alliance, not only the Congress party.
Do stay on with us. Pallavi continues to be with us as well. Pallavi, like we were discussing, the CWC, which is the working committee of the Congress party, they for a very long time have wanted Rahul Gandhi to take this role. He seemed hesitant at the beginning. Do we know what changed?
No, there was a constant pressure on him, Poonam, and there are many factors. See, if you look at Rahul Gandhi's politics in the last couple of years, initially he was often criticized for being a reticent or a hesitant politician. And, you know, very often there were many who felt in the party that perhaps he should not be taking on the Prime Minister head on. Let the Congress party or the party do it on his behalf. In this Lok Sabha election, he made it his single-minded determination that I want to be seen as taking on the PM directly. Now, when you notice his actions and words in the last 2 days, him walking in with a constitution in his hand, yesterday saying that the Prime Minister and the Home Minister duo are the ones who are deriding a constitution, it is very clear that every step he wants to call the PM out, he wants to attack the Prime Minister. And when you do that, he was convinced, he was told that if you ask what
Sorry to interrupt you there, Pallavi. I'll come back to you, but Congress's Nasir Hussain now joining us. So thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18. Rahul Gandhi has decided to take up the mantle of the leader of opposition. It is going to be a Rahul versus Modi direct fight that we see in Parliament now.
See, I think it's more than Rahul ji and Modi ji on the other side. I think it is more about the idea, it is more about the ideology, that contesting ideology that the country has seen in the past couple of decades. This has actually seen as one of the most ugliest faces in the recent times, especially during the elections. So Rahul Gandhi ji, who has been the Congress president, who has been in Lok Sabha for quite a long time now, and who in the last 3-4 years has tried to unite the people of the country. On the one side, you have the Prime Minister of the country and the entire Council of Ministers trying to divide the country through their statements, through their all kinds of activities. Here is a person who is trying to unite the people of the country, and especially his Bharat Jodo Yatra and Bharat Jodo Nyaya Yatra had done some magic not only for the Congress party, but it has definitely done a lot to soothe, to smoothen the feelings of the people of this country.
Mr. Hussain, today another decision was taken by the Congress party. That was the nomination of K. Suresh as the speaker for the speaker's post, the voting for which will be held tomorrow. Many within the India Alliance, India bloc came out and said that we weren't consulted before this decision was taken. As far as the LOP decision is concerned, is that something that all your alliance partners are on board with?
See, LOP decision is generally taken by the largest opposition party in the Lok Sabha and also in the Raj Sabha, if there's one LOP in Raj Sabha. So that is the convention that has been there. So generally, the party takes a call on who should be the leader of opposition, and that's what the Congress party has done. This has not been discussed today in today's floor leaders meeting. Today's floor leaders meeting at Congress President's residence was more about speaker selection. How do we go about it, and what should be the strategy, and what transpired between Mr. Rajnath Singh and Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge ji. So these were the things that were discussed in today's meeting.
Nasir Hussain, thank you so much for speaking with us here on CNN News 18 and confirming that to us. For what we know now is that Rahul Gandhi is going to be the leader of opposition. It is not something that came up during the meeting that was held shortly of all India bloc leaders or the floor leaders of the India Alliance. RP Singh continues to be with us. Shama Mohammed of the Congress also joining us. Shama Mohammed, the decision has now been taken. We were discussing, we were talking with Nasir Hussain as well. Is this something that was taken in consultation with your alliance partners? Because just today, several within the alliance came out and questioned another unilateral decision, as they called it, and that was K. Suresh's nomination for Speaker's post.
See, from the very beginning, we all wanted Rahul Gandhi to be our leader of opposition. And we have said that before. This is something which is going on for the last 1 week. And we're very clear that we wanted him, and we are very, very happy that he's accepted and he's being the leader of opposition. He led from the front this time. He campaigned from the front. He went to all the states. And let's not forget, he's a man who's walked more than 4,000 kilometers from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, meeting people in the Bharat Jodo Yatra. Then he walked from Manipur to Mumbai in the Bharat Jodo Nyaya Yatra. So let's understand that there is a leader who knows the pulse of the people of India, who knows how they feel, and we want him to be the leader of opposition.
That's the chorus that came in from the Congress party. The CWC also has been pitching for that. We were in fact waiting for Rahul Gandhi to actually decide whether he was going to take that position or no. But I was actually asking you about your other alliance partners. This, of course, is the decision of the largest party within the bloc, or the largest opposition party, or the principal opposition party like the Congress would be in this case. But the India alliance wants to be seen as a united front against the Modi government. This is also an issue where perhaps you would want that united front to continue?
We are united. I saw yesterday they were all, in everything there is consensus. It is the Bharatiya Janata Party which has started with the wrong footing. They are reminding the people of emergency when there is something as important as NEET going out here. The Prime Minister of India should right now discuss and speak about how to contain what has happened. NEET, the NEET PG exam, the NEET undergraduate, NET UGC exam, NAT UGC. I mean, what is happening in this country? Paper leaks, multiple paper leaks, the future of our students, they work very hard and this can affect them. I, being a doctor, can say it can affect you mentally, you know. We don't know what will happen because some of them are attempting it the fourth time, some the third time, some the first time. And there is a clear leak of the papers. And what happens? There is no re-examination. And Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan first says, you know, we didn't do anything wrong. There's nothing wrong. These protests are motivated. And now he's coming out and saying that, yes, there is a clear paper leak. The Bihar police, the economic offense wing, have arrested people. They've come out with proper evidence. Jharkhand police involved. You know, the leakage this time is the proportion of it, how far it is. You know, there's Gujarat involved, there is Bihar involved, Jharkhand involved, Delhi involved, Rajasthan involved. You know, it's the scale at which it's happening. And I believe the Prime Minister should first discuss this in Parliament, how to contain it. It is not a BJP, it is about our youth. It is about our people. And that we have to sometimes be above partisan politics as the Prime Minister and speak about these things. He is more interested in talking about emergency, which happened more than 50 years ago, when he's not talking about undeclared emergency when 146 members of parliament were suspended last year and he was passing bills and he wants the same speaker, Om Birla. So we have to understand that from 2018, 19 to 24, we did not have a deputy speaker, but when we were in power, we always, the BJP was the deputy speaker. So I fail to understand why no deputy speaker. And in 2023, the Supreme Court of India came down heavily on the government saying this is unconstitutional. Why is there no deputy speaker? It's not the Congress party which is saying that.
Sure. So these are the issues. These are the issues that
happening in the Constitution.
So these are the issues that you want to raise. And Rahul Gandhi has been given the mantle of effectively raising these issues, along with, of course, other members of Parliament of the Congress and the Alliance as well. Raju Datta of the TMC joining us on this broadcast. Raju Datta, Rahul Gandhi is going to be the leader of opposition. Is that something that TMC welcomes? Is that something that TMC expected?
Absolutely, Mr. Rahul Gandhi. See, the opposition party with the highest number of seats is Indian National Congress. Mr. Rahul Gandhi is a stalwart politician, a tall leader. He's a friend of the party, and we congratulate him for being the leader of opposition of the Lok Sabha. Good, and I'm sure that he is going to take the treasury benches to the cleaners this time. Ask all the tough questions, because now the opposition stands united. The opposition stands resolute to safeguard the constitution and the democracy of this country. And the opposition is going to ask tough questions to the ruling dispensation, because the parliament belongs to the opposition. So Mr. Modi, Mr. Amit Shah and all the others, अपनी कुर्सी की पेटी बांध लीजिए क्योंकि मौसम खराब होने वाला है.
RP Singh, Rahul Gandhi is the voice that leads the opposition in this effective fight against the Modi government. The opposition is extremely confident of that.
Well, had that been good for the speaker's post also? I mean, Mamata Banerjee is on record saying that they were not consulted for the speaker choice or the speaker by the Congress party. तो कुर्सी की पेटी आप पार्टी हमें बांधने के लिए क्यों कह रहे हैं? मौसम खराब होगा, अच्छा होगा, देश देखेगा किस तरह मौसम खराब है, कितना अच्छा है. And you have been given a role of opposition, play a good role of opposition. I mean, stop doing theatric, as I said earlier. Earlier they brought Jantar Mantar into the parliament, this time they are trying to bring Shri Ram theatre into the parliament. I mean, that's not going to help them. They have to discuss issues, they have to debate issues, they have to be seen serious, and we look forward for a serious opposition. That's and a constructive opposition. But it depends on Rahul Gandhi, it depends on the rest of the opposition, and also Aam Aadmi Party has already said that we are no more with the India Alliance. We are independent and we will contest future elections independent of the Aam Aadmi Party, the India Alliance. So let's see how do the opposition unity also goes and how do the opposition unity works. And it's not only that that they are trying to bark on the leaders within the NDA Alliance. There are people within the NDA Alliance who would like to be part of the NDA Alliance at some given stage.
Sure, whether that unity continues within the opposition ranks or not, that's something that time will tell. But as of the moment, Rahul Gandhi has been chosen or has decided to take up the position. He's been appointed as a leader of opposition, something that all alliance partners seem to be on board with. I have to leave it at that. Unfortunately, I'm completely out of time. I thank you, RP Singh, Raju Datta and Shama Mohammed for joining us here on this edition of Brass Tacks. That is a political controversy that we will keep an eye out on. Whether the BJP continues to question this, or is this the first step towards a fiery parliament session that we see from tomorrow onwards? That and much more will continue on CNN News 18. Don't go anywhere.
Is releasing the adequate amount. The water is not reaching Delhi, and Delhi is somewhere facing the water scarcity, and this is the reason why Aam Aadmi Party is in fact demanding extra water for Delhi. But today she has been hospitalized in the LNJP hospital, and it has been confirmed by Aam Aadmi Party leaders.
Right, Akash, thank you so much for bringing us the latest with regards to her health. We'll keep coming back to you for more updates on that story. Right now, shifting focus to another piece of breaking news now coming in. All right, but we have got a reaction also coming in from Sanjay Singh of Aam Aadmi Party. He will give the update about Atishi's health at the moment. Let's take a look at that as well.
तार बिगड़ रहा था और अभी जो रात को इनका शुगर लेवल चेक किया गया, ब्लड शुगर की जो रिपोर्ट आई है वो 43. तो सारे डॉक्टरों की ये सलाह है कि स्थिति इनकी बिगड़ी हुई है और इनको हॉस्पिटल में एडमिट करना बहुत ज़रूरी है, वरना बहुत गंभीर स्थिति हो सकती है, बहुत बुरी हालत हो सकती है. इसलिए डॉक्टरों की सलाह पे इनको एडमिट कराया जा रहा है. मैम अभी कौन से हॉस्पिटल जा रही है? LNJP हॉस्पिटल में एडमिट कराने जा रहे हैं और पिछले 4 दिनों से लगातार आज 5वां दिन हो गया अनशन पे हैं. अन्न का एक दाना नहीं लिया, शुगर लेवल लगातार नीचे जा रहा है. कीटों
Some big breaking news now coming in. Well, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange has agreed to plead guilty in the US court to revealing military secrets in exchange for his freedom, ending his years-long legal drama. Assange, who had been in custody in Britain, will plead guilty to a single count of conspiracy to obtain and disseminate national defense information as well. That's the big breaking news now coming in. Another piece of breaking news also coming in. Well, NASA has delayed the return of 2 astronauts from the International Space Station for the 3rd time now, raising probable concerns the crew could be quote-unquote stranded. Butch Wilmore and Sunita Williams were initially scheduled for a 9-day stay, which was then pushed back twice this month and now sits at undetermined date as well. So that's the big breaking news now coming in. Remember, we told you earlier that there are multiple helium leaks happening and Boeing is unable to fix all of those helium leaks as well. That could be a probable...
Rahul Gandhi vacates the seat he won for a second consecutive time and his sister steps in. There is a question of what has Priyanka Gandhi done to merit this ticket as a bipole after her brother has won from Wayanad. It's not like she has proven her electoral mettle.
Is America playing a very dangerous game with Bharat, where it bats with Bharat against the PLA vis-a-vis Tibet and Taiwan is concerned, but it uses Canada to once again bat and try and finger India?
Can the BJP absolve itself by insinuating that the other side, for the lack of a better word, is involved or is complicit in leaking the NEET exam? There must be somebody who gives out that paper, isn't it?
Why are we letting the Americans fire off our shoulders? This is basically an American congressional delegation coming here to India and making a geopolitical statement against China at a time when India has its own plate full when it comes to its own troubles with China.
Has now delayed the return of 2 of the astronauts from the International Space Station for the 3rd time, raising many concerns that the crew could be quote-unquote stranded. Butch Wilmore and Sunita Williams are on board. They were initially scheduled for a 9-day stay, which was then pushed back twice this month and now sits at an undetermined day as well. Shifting focus towards the state of Tamil Nadu and bringing you all the latest updates with regards to the huge tragedy. A number of people dying due to consumption of toxic country liquor in Tamil Nadu's Kallakurichi district reached 58 yesterday, and the least 156 people are still in hospitals across the state after consuming the illicit liquor on last Wednesday evening. Now, the Crime Branch Criminal Investigation Department, which is the CBCID of Tamil Nadu Police, has already begun a thorough investigation into the tragedy. AIADMK delegation is going to meet the governor over huge tragedy as the death toll continues to mount even further.
No, we are not silent at all. We have completely condemned it. We have asked the government to take the necessary steps to curb illegal liquor. We have done it. We are not silent. The Congress party is very responsible and is completely conscious of what's happening there, and it is a serious issue.
Honorable Governor, and we have submitted a memorandum. We have appealed for CBI inquiry, because the state government is denying the CBI inquiry because they know they will be exposed. And it is it's revealed that the DMK MLA was sitting along with the suspended SP and the transferred collector and hiding the fact. And action has been taken on the collector, on the SP, but why action has been not taken on the MLA who was visibly sitting in the press meet and hiding the facts?
Now, Delhi Water Minister Atishi
Rahul Gandhi vacates the seat he won for a second consecutive time and his sister steps in. There is a question of what has Priyanka Gandhi done to merit this ticket as a bipole after her brother has won from Wayanad. It's not like she has proven her electoral mettle.
Is America playing a very dangerous game with Bharat, where it bats with Bharat against the PLA vis-a-vis Tibet and Taiwan is concerned, but it uses Canada to once again bat and try and finger India?
Can the BJP absolve itself by insinuating that the other side, for the lack of a better word, is involved or is complicit in leaking the NEET exam? There must be somebody who gives out that paper, isn't it?
Why are we letting the Americans fire off our shoulders? This is basically an American congressional delegation coming here to India and making a geopolitical statement against China at a time when India has its own plate full when it comes to its own troubles with China.
Presented by.
Sitting on an indefinite hunger strike for the last 4 days, claiming that Haryana is not releasing adequate to Delhi's share of water, was brought to the LNJP hospital as her health deteriorated in the wee hours of today. As you can clearly see the visuals that we are flashing on your screens as well, that is Delhi's Water Minister Atishi. She has now been admitted to the hospital after her health condition deteriorated as she was on an indefinite hunger strike against the Haryana government.
अभी हॉस्पिटल जा रहे हैं, अभी एडमिट कराने जा रहे हैं.
All right, so that was Delhi's Water Minister Atishi. She has been now hospitalized to LNJP hospital here in the national capital for a deteriorated and poor health condition because of her satyagraha. She began her satyagraha on June 22nd. She said that she will sit on a hunger strike against the Haryana government for not releasing adequate amount of water. The demands that the Delhi government cited for the Haryana government is 100 million gallons per day of water, which they claim is Delhi's share. And now, since her health has been deteriorated since the early hours of today, she has now been hospitalized by the party workers to the LNJP hospital. We have got CNN News 18's Akash Sharma joining us on the phone line early this morning. Akash, a very good morning to you. Please walk us through all the latest updates that you have received with regards to Atishi's health.
Right. So it has been 3-4 days since when Atishi has been protesting. In fact, it is the 4th day. And yesterday, LNJP doctors, in fact, a team visited the particular place, and after checkup, it was advised that Atishi should be hospitalized, but she denied. However, in the midnight, her sugar levels, fell down, and it was reported as 36 in the morning at around 4 a.m. And after that, she was hospitalized. It has been confirmed by Saurabh Bhardwaj as well that how after low sugar levels, she has been hospitalized. Remember, she is protesting, for water, for more water for Delhi. In fact, she has been claiming that Haryana is not releasing the adequate amount, and even when, it is releasing the adequate amount, the water is not reaching Delhi. And Delhi is somewhere facing the water scarcity, and this is the reason why Aam Aadmi Party is in fact, demanding extra water for Delhi. But today, she has been hospitalized in the LNJP hospital, and it has been.
Hello and welcome to First Post. You're watching Vantage with me, Alison Lagrange.